Near confusion at Elmina in the central region as chiefs and people battle contractors working on a fish processing plant at the marine park. Now, some youth of Elmina say the site for the plant is not suitable. My name is Bright Nananfo. Thanks so much for staying there for today's big story. Now, construction work on the fish processing plant was inaugurated 2 months ago by President John Dramani Mahama. The Elmina Traditional Council, however, today resolved to stop construction work and actually move to the site to stop the contractors. The contractors, however, resisted, resulting in exchanges between the two parties. The spokespersons of the Traditional Council, Nana Eduakwa, explained that the council is not against development projects but the location. He told the media the Commander Edina Egwafo Abre Municipal Council has no land, let alone give government a land to build project. Nana Eduakwa told the media that they will resist every attempt until every issue surrounding the fish processing plant is resolved.
And you could try to stop work removed by the landowners on the date so and so. And the pie to the man.
Thanks so much for staying there. Let me quickly join the Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, Honorable Nayo Bilijo. Honorable, thanks so much for your time.
Good evening, thank you.
And first of all, this project seems to have started, and the Elmina Traditional Council is saying that they were expecting a delegation from the Fisheries Ministry today, and yet they did not turn up. Are you aware of this?
Yeah, they wrote a letter asking for a meeting, and they fixed a date, and then I said that date was not convenient, so they should convey to them that it is not a convenient date for me, and so I suppose that has been conveyed to them. If not, that date was not convenient.
And so that is the reason why perhaps the officials expected from the ministry could not turn up.
Yeah.
Now, this seems to be worrying because the chiefs and people have asked contractors on the site to stop work.
What authority are they using to ask contractors who have been duly awarded contract by government of Ghana to stop work?
As I'm speaking to you now, the contractors are not working because the chiefs and people walked there and ordered them to stop work. It nearly resulted in some confusion there.
Yeah, that is part of the general indiscipline post that we have across board in this country. How can a group of people just get up and walk to a contract site that they have not awarded any contract, knowing that Ghana government has awarded a contract, and go and order that they should stop work? I mean, that is unacceptable behavior. The chiefs and people have taken up the matter. They have written to the ministry. We responded to their first letter explaining the nature of the contract. At first, they were making claims that the land had given to a foreign company to go and do a private business there. I wrote and responded that that was not the case. That project is Ghana government project, and it is coming under an Indian Exim Bank loan, and the contractors are necessarily to come from India. They are contractors executing a project for the people of Ghana and precisely for the fishermen of Elmina. That project is going to be owned by the people of Elmina through the municipal assembly and other staff there, and they will manage it. They also raised issues about the location of the project, saying that the project was located at a site that a harbor was to be built. And I explained in my letter that that is not the case. The harbor space is still there, and this project, a fish processing project, came up. Now, there were two places that the project was likely to go, either Tema or Elmina. And in view of the many factories that exist in Tema, it was decided that Elmina should be given an opportunity of an industry, particularly so when we are already going to build a harbor, a mini harbor there. A fish processing plant will complement the infrastructure there in terms of utilization. It will maximize its utilization and bring higher returns to the people of Elmina, particularly the fishermen. So I am disappointed and I am surprised that the people being given this kind of project will say they don't want it. And I simply don't get it. They were also talking about the land, that the land does not belong to the assembly and the assembly gave the land. And I said, well, I as minister, I came and met the situation where the land had been already allocated for the project and the project has reached an advanced stage. So I am going to get the regional coordinating council and the municipal assembly plus the ministry and the commission, and we are ready to sit down with you and talk and see how we can resolve the issue about how the land was acquired and what needs to be done to formalize it if that has to be the situation. And so we are taking positive steps to ensure that if there are any concerns about how the land was acquired, we will address it. So for their response to stop the project is unthinkable. I simply can't imagine it, that they are prepared to stop, to deny the people of Elmina a project of this nature. That is shocking. I can't believe it.
Is it possible that perhaps they seem to have been left out in discussions on the project? Because, for instance, they were expecting a delegation from the Fisheries Ministry today, and like you told me earlier, you communicated that you couldn't make it. Is it that decisions being taken has left the people of Elmina out?
Look, when the request came to me and I looked at my schedule and schedule of other officials, it was clear that we will not be available for the meeting on the scheduled date, because that date was not even picked in consultation with us. So they should know that as they fix a date for something, we are also fixing dates for our activities. So I have asked that the contact should be made with them, a fresh date to be fixed for that kind of meeting. And I've not been around, and so I cannot tell to what extent they have been contacted on that issue.
Right.
But my point is that should not lead to a situation where the chiefs will say that we are ready to deny our people this kind of important project just because of misunderstanding. Misunderstanding which I have indicated I am ready through the letter I wrote to them for us to sit down and resolve. So for me, let the project, because once the project is established there, it is for them. Right. No one can take it away. So for me, the most sensible thing to do is to let the project be going on whilst we are talking.
Let me, Honorable, hold the line. Let me try and speak to a spokesperson of the traditional council. The Nana Eduakwa has just joined me on phone now. Now, first of all, Nana, thanks so much for your time. But the Fisheries Ministry said that it was communicated to you that today's meeting could not come off because the minister was engaged somewhere. Are you aware of such any communication?
Chief, I am so surprised to hear that somebody would say that it was communicated to us.
It is the Minister of Fisheries.
Yes, Minister of Fisheries. We haven't heard anything from anybody. We realized that we said 29th, if it's possible, we will all sit down and talk about this issue. But if he sits on the radio and tell us the most sensible thing that people should do is to communicate, I think we are sensible people, we are responsible people, I am surprised that if he tells us stuff, it's amazing. I'm not going to insult him. He's a minister of state, but it's totally uncalled for to start any conversation with such a person.
Now the project has started, and is it not proper that we allow the project to proceed, and if there are any issues to be resolved, the authorities can handle it?
Listen, there has been some communication. All we are saying is that the land has not been acquired properly. That's one. So on the 27th of August, we petitioned. 18th of September, the minister wrote a very beautiful letter recognizing our role and everything, and even gave a history of when and how the land was acquired. But we saw that there were flaws in that. So we said, listen, our doors are opened, and we would wish if 29th would be appropriate for us to talk. So today, 29th, we went there. We were ready to. Nobody came to say anything to us. So we said, well, to provoke further discussion, let's go and tell them that they should stop work, and we know whoever has instructed them will come forward. And now
Nana, that suggests lawlessness. You did not give the contractors the contract, and yet you went there and asked them to stop. That is lawlessness.
Yes. And you see, the land belongs to us. We could have even stopped from the very beginning when we saw people entering that place, but we did not do that. I mean, there should be some decorum in the way we do things here in Ghana, please. The land, how do you enter somebody's home without any recourse to him? Please.
Is this project not for the people of Elmina?
It is for the people of Elmina.
How can the people of Elmina support this project to its conclusion?
We are not against this project. We are a fishing community. This is something that is coming to enhance the fishing industry in our neighborhood. But the land in question, it is not, to us, it is not an appropriate place to do that. If they had told us, we would have given them a space.
Has this inappropriateness of the land or the location, has it been communicated to the Fisheries Ministry?
I am very happy to talk to anybody, but it looks like we are using this forum as a court of law or trying to inquire from us. We are ready, as we indicated in our letter, we are ready to sit down with any appropriate quarters that comes up to talk to us. So I think let's go. But for a minister to be on the radio to tell us that the most sensible thing to do, I think it's so insulting, and I don't want to. I mean, I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't want to insult a minister of a place. So let's end it.
Nana, the context in which he was making the statement is what we're talking about now. His suggestion is that there are challenges with the land, and he's thinking that we could go ahead.
But you don't tell us that we are I mean, we are responsible people. The Nananum of Elmina are level-headed people.
Right. Nana Ediako, can you hold on for me? Let me speak to...
please. Thank you very much.
Nana Ediako, hold on for me. Let me speak to the minister. Mr. Now, you wanted to quickly react to the comments he made.
If Nana finds my use of the word a sensible thing to do very unpalatable, I would draw that. But that was not meant to be an insult to Nana. Absolutely not. I will not do that. If I would do that, Nana himself has attested to the beautiful letter I wrote to him, very respectful letter. The point I was making is that, look, the issues they raised were many. Now they have been narrowed down to the manner in which the land was acquired or given out for the project. And for me, this is a very simple issue. Therefore, that is in the context in which I used the sensible thing to do. And so I don't want to repeat it. But I think the right thing to do is to let the project go on because the issue of the manner in which the land was acquired, I have indicated in that letter that I wrote to Nananum that we are prepared to sit down with them to resolve that one. You know, so, and I believe that we can get a resolution to that. So for it to go to the extent where they are going to stop work, I think that is a bit too far for Nananum to do, because the youth and others can agitate to get attention, but Nana doesn't need to agitate and go and stop work to get attention. Nana has the right and the honor to be given that honor back, and therefore if Nana asks, if he hasn't heard from me, Nana can even take let his secretary or subject take a phone and call me, and I will speak to the matter. When I got the request for the meeting, it was clear from my schedule and the schedule of other people, directors in the ministry, that it will not be available for it today. And I indicated that they should do that. Now, I did not say they have done that, because I don't know whether they actually got them to inform them or not. So I am not saying that the message got to them. So, Nana, I'm sorry if the use of the word that it was not meant is offensive to you, and that is withdrawn.
Right.
Now, the other issue that I want to comment on concerning Nana's decision is the appropriateness of the location. I beg to beg Nana that in selecting the site, we think it is the most suitable site, adjacent, exactly next to a fishing harbor, which has all the logistics and facilities, infrastructure that will enhance the utilization of a fish processing plant. Anywhere far away from it will just may likely turn the fish processing plant into a white elephant. So I will appeal to Nana and his subjects, sub-chiefs and subjects, to be calm, and they will get the necessary response and attention and audience with the ministry, and we will sit down and solve this matter in a very respectful way. So if they can kindly rescind their action of stopping the work and allow work to go on, we will find time and then come over there and sit down and talk this matter over. This should not be a big problem at all to me and the ministry.
Right. So the ministry is insisting that the location of a site is the best thing to do. Now, the chiefs and people are claiming that the land was not properly acquired. Now, how do we go back and make sure that perhaps whatever has to be done is quickly put in place?
Yeah, that is what Nana is talking about. If we sit down, Nana and his sub-chiefs and Nana subjects will tell us what should have been done for the proper acquisition of the land. In other words, they will also tell us how the land was acquired that they find improper. Of course, there are always two sides of a coin. Those who acquired the land and gave it for the project will also state how they went about it. And then we will see the gap or the difference between the two. And if there's a need for something to be done, it will then be done. You know, so at this point, I just take Nana's word that the land was not properly acquired. But I have no proof, and I was not part of it. Like I said, I came into the picture in February, March this year, and I had to push this project for it to become a reality, and that is what I am doing. So if my attention is now being drawn to the fact that the land may have been acquired not in the proper way, then I'm prepared to sit down with Nanam to find out the gaps, and then we'll fill it to the satisfaction of all. But for me, the most important thing is that the project must go on, because that project should not be affected just because there are issues or challenges to be dealt with from now on.
The Municipal Assembly is perhaps the authority that gave the land to government.
They did.
They did. Now, is it coming from there that, or do you have communication as to whether the particular land is a troubled one before the project took off?
No. They are. See that like Nana said, we should not use this medium as court space to go into this matter. So I am refraining from stating the position of the District Assembly and the regional, Municipal Assembly and regional trying to refrain from that, because that will amount to saying that Nana said this and they said that, therefore who is right and who is wrong. Not prejudge that. It is when we sit down and we hear. But if you want, for the sake of the listeners, this assembly or the municipal assembly thinks that they acquire the space properly. But we cannot tell what is what until we sit down with Nananum and hear all sides.
How soon is this expected to be? Since, for instance, today they sat there waiting and the ministry failed to reach them.
We apologize for that situation that arose. They having to sit down and wait. When I get back to office, I will find out who was responsible for communicating that to them and whether it was done or not, and if it was not, why it was not done. And we will render an apology to Nananum and his council for sitting down and expecting us when and we didn't come.
Right, let me say thank you to you, Minister of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, Naya Billy Joe there, talking to me about the issue at Elmina. Of course, Nananum asking that work on the fish processing plant should stop. As we're speaking to you now, contractors working on the site have been asked to stop work, and some of the workers have been complaining. But Nana Kujokundria insisted that the project will have to be halted until all parties involved in the case meet to agree on the way forward. Now, they are alleging that the meeting with the Fisheries Ministry, as I told you earlier, failed to come up because officials of the ministry did not turn up. Let's listen to Nana Kujokundria.
Yasami hinanye nde suma wazo suma henye de jumezina warizino wonjai couple of time mpanyimfo no wababa the way bohunyen na mo sada wonyen kan no wonyen na aka ansa na bibia bokodo awa
and you could yakwa stop work removed by the landowners on the date so and so and the pie into the man.
Right, so let me speak to our Central Regional Correspondent, Georgina Pierre, who was there today when Nananum stopped work. Now, Georgina, apart from Nananum asking the contractor to stop work, can you confirm that the contractor actually stopped work when he was ordered by the chiefs and people of Elmina?
Well, he didn't stop. He was actually telling the chief that the contract was given to him by the government through the KEEA, that's Commander Edina Egwafo Abrim Municipal Assembly, and that they can't stop the work until they have been given a directive from the KEEA. So they were still going on with the work.
And from the look of things, is it likely that tomorrow we can see the contractor perhaps not working because of the order, or the chiefs perhaps marching to the site again because of what happened today?
Well, actually the contractor didn't give any indication that they will stop the work. So for now, I can say they may continue, but as to stopping or continue, that will be for tomorrow.
Georgina, this particular project, earlier when the president went there to inaugurate the beginning of construction works, there were some issues as to some chiefs not attending the ceremony. Before this project is taken off, I guess it is running into difficulties already.
Yeah. The Edina Traditional Council actually said they were not consulted before starting. That's why up till now they are still asking the government to come and sit down with them to see the way forward. So that was why they couldn't even attend the ceremony. So at the moment we are just waiting if the government will sit with the Edina Traditional Council to see if really they will go on with the project. The chiefs were actually saying they have a different and an appropriate site for such a project, and that area is not meant for such a project.
Georgina, now these would seem to be seeing the chiefs more in the picture, particularly with this issue. Now, if you've been talking to the youth of Elmina, who will be the direct beneficiary of this particular project, what have they been saying about what is going on?
Actually, since most of the youth are also not, let me say, in favor of the project, they were actually telling me that that side is for the fishermen. That's where they land. So if the project is there, they will not get any place to land. That's the landing site. They will not get any place there. So they were actually asking the government to come and reconstruct the Elmina Bridge for them. They said that is the main important thing for them. So if the government can do that and leave this project, they will be appreciated.
And just before I let you go, do you see this particular issue ending anytime soon? You have been following the story.
Well, let me say for myself, if the government does not sit with the Edina Traditional Council, I know the Traditional Council will not allow the project to go on. For that, I can say.
Let's end it here. Georgina Pia is our correspondent from the Central Region, filing that report for us. And work, I'm told, will go on because the contractor says that the people of Elmina are not those who gave him the contract. We'll get you more on this particular issue at Elmina in the Central Region, but this is how we wrap up the very first segment of the show. We're getting you the second segment, that is the interactive segment. That is all about you, telling you what you need to hear and you telling us what we need to hear. Stay right there. I'll be back in a moment. To the second segment of today's big story, and we're talking about road safety. A few, should I say, days and weeks to Christmas, and the accidents are beginning to show up on the radar. We'll be checking that. Mariam will be talking about road safety today, and I'm sure you've been driving, and you drive with a driving license?
Oh, none.
What are you asking?
Yes, I drive with a driving license.
Right, because I have been told people drive with birth certificates
and then national health insurance cards. And
so, thank God you are a law-abiding citizen. You have a driving license.
I have a driving license.
And you're talking road safety today.
I am talking road safety today because you remember 5 months ago, the police had initiated something, what they call the spot fine.
Right.
Just hoping that once they start that, and we'll all be afraid, and we'll all follow the law and say, okay, I don't want to be,
right.
you know, pay anything, so I'd be law-abiding on the streets. It went to bed for a while. Now it's back on the front burner. And they're saying, okay, we're back. We're going to...
With a pilot scheme.
With a pilot scheme in Accra, exactly, and then also in Tema and then the Ashoti region.
So you have a birth certificate as your driver license, and then the police says you are charged 50 Ghana, 40 Ghana, or 30 Ghana, and you pay there and then.
You pay there and then.
Wow. Let's hope to get our drivers to be...
but the mechanics, the dynamics, whether it will work, is also a problem. Because, you know, Professor Ajay...
Right.
He's asking, is this going to work? Because if you say 60, and then the person says, I don't have 60, then it becomes a problem where you start negotiating with each other, saying, Master, I don't have 60, I have 20, so you pocket this 20, I'll come back later. So he is rather thinking that perhaps let's lower it to a basic minimum. If it's 20 cedis, you know everybody can afford 20 cedis. So when you find them there and then, they'll pay, and then everything will clear.
Right, Mara, welcome. Let's hear what the people are saying about
Thank you so much. Welcome to JN Interactive. My name is Marian Toure. So thank you for joining us here on JN Interactive, and today we are actually talking about the police sport fines, pilot sport fines actually for Accra, Tema and then the Ashanti regions. If you're just joining us, I'd like to announce the tools that you need, social media tools that you need to get in touch with the show. If you're on Facebook, go and like our page, facebook.com/Joy News on TV. Like our page, comment on all the posts we put there so that we'll be able to take them and share them with the rest of the world. If you are on Twitter, we tweet at Joy News on TV. And remember to use the hashtag JNInteractiveGH so that we'll be able to sort everything out and then take them all at a go. If you're sending us an email, please use joynewsim@multitvworld.com. The WhatsApp number is 0260-518-801, and I am also on Twitter. I tweet at MN Toure. JN Interactive is where tech meets news to set the agenda. And yes, we are talking. A pilot fine regime is now in effect in Accra, Tema and the Ashanti regions, according to the Police Motor Traffic and Transport Department, MTTD. The policy is being implemented after the police shelved it back in May this year. The police says the sport fine has become necessary now in order to reduce motor accidents in the pending festive season. But we're asking whether this is going to be so or it's not. And Professor Stephen Adai, who is the former rector of GIMPA, is of the view that 60 cedis is, you know, it's too much, and it has to be reviewed, as it could lead to, you know, drivers wanting to negotiate a lower rate to pay, and then who knows, the money doesn't end up in government coffers, but it ends up in someone's pocket, like we learnt about Kolibu yesterday. Let's take a listen to him in our first video blog.
There must be some strict enforcement. I think that there's an improvement now. They are going to say that they will be on the sport fine. I believe that the sport fine should be low. Now I hear that it's averaging about 60 Ghana cedis, and then you'll be given a cheat and you have to go and pay it. I probably would say that you have about half of that. The lower it is, the more good people are likely to pay it at the right source. And if it's higher, people are likely to negotiate. We are Ghanaians and we know what happens. If you are going to pay 60 and you can get away with 10, that is, you know, 1/6. So that may be looked at.
So you have heard it from the man himself, and that is what he thinks. We are asking what you also think about it. We'll go and take our next video blog, and we are actually asking you what you make of the entire thing, the whole scheme that the police is trying to enforce. What do you make of it? Your general, you know, opinion about it. We'll take our next video blog.
In a way it's good, and in a way it's not good. The way that which is not good for me is when you get to find the person at the spot. Where is okay, what if the person doesn't have the money there and there? Well, what is the person going to do? Are you going to escort the person to his or her house to get the money for you, or what? Is the person going to be locked up? And the way that is good for me is it should also keep us in shape. You get me? So everything you do in town, you have to be very careful, because especially if you know you don't have money on you. You have to be very careful.
It's my bonnet or finding me and then one. Name said, finding no scanning back by one, I for police in the bottom. I support the police people for that sport fund, but what I'm saying is when they cut them, they should give them the receipt. Give them the receipt, and then it go to the government pocket. When they are implement this, by the time you realize a lot of the drivers are caught, but the money is not in the government coffers. It's going to one person coffers. So that's my problem.
So this is what most of you are thinking about it, and we are, you know, asking everybody. We are a bit cautious about it, you know, trepidation and all that. But we went out there also to ask you whether you will negotiate, you know, try and negotiate with a guy and say, hey, I can't pay all of that. I like to pay 20 cedis out of 60, or I have 40 cedis. I'll come back and pay the rest later, or whatever it is. We've been asking you, and this is what you had to say about it. We'll take our next video blog.
And it's good, but let's say I'm in a hurry going to some place and maybe I didn't show signal before turning, and you find me and you said on the spot I should give you something, I can give you. But let's say if like I'm not in a hurry, I can let you take me to where you want to take me. Even if it is the station, I will go with you to the station.
So we'll take our last video blog, and we have actually been asking in that particular one whether, you know, what the police is saying is true. It would actually go a long way to curb the road accidents that they are hoping it will curb in the first place. So let's take our next video blog.
I think it should be maintained. For me, yeah, I think it should be maintained, because they will put especially the truck drivers and the taxi drivers, they are really worrying us. So it will put them on the shape as well as us.
I'm a driver. When you are going to Cedro, you will meet about 5 police people on the road. Everybody will take his or her chest, you see. So I support them, because some of the drivers, I think they have a mental problem.
So on the phone line right now is DSP Alexander Obeng. He is the Director Research and Training of the Police MTTD, and MTTD is Motor Transport Department of the Police Unit. So he's on the line now. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening and thank you.
How are you doing?
Oh, by God's grace.
We thank God. We want to find out, do you have any system in place, let's say something like what happens in the West, you know, in the Western world, in the US and in England, as you know, I can say they have a system which actually communicates directly with a master unit somewhere in an office, and so whenever you put in the fine, it would register somewhere. You'll be able to track the person. In case that they're not able to pay, you'll still be able to track them later and collect the money. Do we have something like that in place, and if yes, how will ours work?
Thank you very much. I think we have a system in place. We've automated the license register of all drivers in Ghana, and we've also been able to develop electronic counterpart driver's license of all drivers who are driving in the country. And we have a GPS device connected to a printer, very portable one, that the police officer will use, enters the person's, the offender's certificate of competence of the person's license, or the license number of the offender, and the details pops up, and whatever infraction that is committed, a spot fine notice is automatically generated and recorded against his or her details at the central database. So we have, and this wouldn't take more than a minute or two to process an offender at any part in the country. So we have, and that is the more reason why it has delayed a bit, because we wanted to input ICT to make it easier for us to do a professional work deserved by Ghanaians.
Okay, so I'm just wondering, in the event that I don't have my driver's license with me, but I know my name and my address, is there a way of tracking me down?
All that the system will need is your license number, a COC, very super short. So every driver will, we believe, knows his or her license number, certificate of competence. I think it's for 5 numbers. I think it's a very simple one. So that's all that police will need. If your license was not with you, we will need it. But the law requires that, and let me use the opportunity to inform all Ghanaians that if you want to drive on our road in Ghana, the law requires under Regulation 47 of LI 2180 of 2012 that you carry your original driver's license. Otherwise, you don't any vehicle on our road. It's a requirement. However, even if you don't have it, you will be required to produce your certificate of competence on your license or your license number, and that is what the device requires to be imputed, so that the officer will impute it in the device, and then it's recorded on your counterpart devices, and a notice is issued for you to go to a pay point to go and honor the sportsman notice, of which you are supposed to be punished per the law with a payment of either 50 Ghana cedis or something.
So I'm just wondering, if you stop me as a driver for a road offense and then you issue a receipt, what happens if I do not have cash on me at that particular moment?
I think Parliament thought of it and said that because this has a noble goal to reduce incidents of preventable crashes, that when you are stopped and you are issued with a spot fine notice, you are given 24 hours to go and redeem yourself or honor it at a pay point, which will be mirrored and dotted across the country. So it is taken care of. What is important is that as long as the spot fine notice issued, it is recorded on your accompanying electronic counterpart license. That is a record or your history or your behavior on the road over time, so that anywhere you go within the 24 hours, if you have not paid and another police officer stops you and input your license number in the counterpart device, the spot fine device, it will pop up that earlier you have been arrested and you have not paid, and that is what is important. That is, you be known, and then within 24 hours you are required to pay. If you don't pay, after 24 hours, it is deemed that bench warrant is following you, and any police officer that detects that you are still on the road, within 24 hours, will be arrested and placed in police custody until such time that you pay. Otherwise, you are taken to court for the court to pronounce on.
Okay, before you go, I'd like to ask, there are concerns it will lead to, drivers influencing the MTTD personnel, to pay less. What do you say to this?
I think this is a Motor Traffic and Transport Department project, or better said, Ghana Police Service project, and therefore it will be out of place for us to undermine it. Again, the Parliament thought that the police will be at the forefront, and as human as they are, they needed to be motivated. That's why there is a law that has been laid clearly that police, any spot fine it is that the police officer will issue, the device will be entitled to 25% of the value. Therefore, the law requires that we should use it to build our capacity and to make it run an efficient job, deliver an efficient traffic service. Therefore, the police officer who Ghana has thought of and is giving these incentives wouldn't go his or her own way, selfishly, to, as it were, compromise his noble profession and then settle for this fix. Again, let us know that there will be a supervisory unit desk that will also supervise, and going to constant training. We're going to use contemporary traffic instruments and enforcement equipment. It will be difficult for people to corrupt it, and that is one intention of this project, because one of these noble objectives is that to minimize interference from police-public corruption, and that is very is at the core of this concept, and therefore we will pay particular attention to it and ensure that professional police officers deliver professional traffic services to Ghanaians in order to change attitude and reduce incidents of the traffic offences that lead to crashes, and also to lessen the burden on the courts
Okay, thank you so much, DSP Alex Adobe. Thank you so much for educating us on the way forward. Okay, we'll take some of your comments before we wrap up, and we are asking you, the question is, do you believe this will reduce accidents as the police claim? They're claiming that putting all these spot fines in place would actually reduce accidents. We're asking your thoughts on that. Baba Musa Tamale says it is a good idea, but it should not be limited to only the festive period. Besides, the police must put in place mechanisms to avoid a situation where the monies collected by the police will not end in private pockets. I think it will be appropriate for traffic offenders to pay into, let's say, a designated bank account rather than paying directly to the police involved, because what will be the guarantee that a fine paid by an offender will not end up in someone else's soup pot? That's what you're saying. George says, I think this is a beautiful idea, but the police must come to Takwa and implement this nice policy here. However, the police must check their guys against corruption with this particular policy. Newton Jeffers, let's wait and see what would happen. Christian Salvo, and I met him today, fabulous young man. Well, I agree with the police, but they should increase the amount so that people will refrain from their bad behavior. Christian, if we increase it, we may not get that money at all. That's what a lot of people are thinking. Issa says a very good initiative thanks to the police and government. Wise King Solomon says, why just for the festive season? It must be an all year round policy and must be enforced diligently. I am thinking that they're using the festive period as a litmus test, of course, to say whatever you're starting, this is the time when accidents rise on our streets, and so why don't we start it at this particular moment? That is why I'm sure they're doing that, but they will roll it out even after that. I'll take my final comment before we wrap up together. Answer Kofi says it's a very good initiative, and I believe and think it will really, really work. So that is where we end your comments for today. So many of them have come through, and thank you so much for joining me with them. Bright Info is back.
Right, and when Israel comes away at 8, we'll be telling you more about President Mahama, who has left the country for Stockholm in Sweden. The president will be co-hosting the midterm review meeting of the Global Alliance for Vaccines and Immunization.
And also to expect with Israel within news at 8 is that the former press secretary in the SWAL MPP administration, Kwabena Ejapong, has officially launched his campaign to contest the general secretary position of the MPP.
And coming up right after this is Joy News Exclusive. Thanks so much for your company. My name is Bright.
And my name is Marian Ture. Have a good evening.